Day number 1 of the 41st running at the Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals, fueled by Casey's. On the docket today, a ton of racing.
I've never seen so many racers in one area. I mean, there's 1,050 cars or so. They come from California all the way to the East Coast. It's pretty unbelievable.
You just pray for not having another good guy or two in your heat race, but once you get to them features, man, you look around and anybody can win the race. Everybody can win the race. It's so tough.
Wanted to win this race for years. Been close a few times. Never gotten one though. So I better get one soon or I ain't gonna get one.
It's basically our Super Bowl. I was 15 or 16 the first time we were here, and you know, I've heard everybody talk about it, and then you show up and you're like, it didn't disappoint.
The racing's really hard. It's cutthroat. You have to take pretty much any spot that you can get. If you win it, I think it's probably the best thing that you could ever do.
It's such a prestigious event that we just come here every year. Obviously, we're all wanting to win, but just make it in the show and try to be a part of this deal.
It's hard to even explain how cool it is just to see everybody here, and we love the racing sport, and this is our vacation throughout the whole year.
You know, I don't ever get nervous, but when I tend to go out for a heat race for Super Nationals, for some reason, you got them butterflies, which it's just because there's so many people here, you know. I mean, if you don't know what Boone is, you haven't been around racing much.
With more than 1,000 entries, failure isn't just an option at Boone, it's a near certainty. Less than 1 in 4 will make a name, a fact that makes the racing at Boone some of the most intense on earth.
And is the yellow, oh! Rusty Bates getting launched. Where was that, off of 3 and 4?
I looked down. You're never conservative at Boone. If you're being conservative, you're gonna get monster trucked by somebody else that ain't being conservative.
If you think, oh, I'll wait, you better not be waiting, because it's not gonna end up good.
You don't have too many opportunities to gain position, you know, or put yourself in a position to make the A main, so you pretty much got to be all out all the time.
I mean, the lap times here are like 17 seconds, so if you lose, you know, a couple tenths a lap for a while, it takes a long time to get it back.
You got to be aggressive from the beginning, and you can't screw up. I mean, if you screw up, there's always somebody there that's going to take advantage of it.
You got to stay ahead of everything, because if you get here, it's one bad thing, and you're going to be behind the game all week, and you can't have that if you want to be up front.
Success at Boone requires a delicate balance between patience and aggression. Because while each race may be akin to a sprint, the entire week is dirt racing's equivalent of an ultramarathon.
So I tend to be more conservative. I'm not going to, you know, use the old phrase that 8 wheels turn better than 4. You know, I'm not going to do that. But the track is so wide here, so you can get 5, 6 wide at times.
It's just such a cool place. Race is different than anywhere else in the country too, so everything you know for any setup anywhere, just throw it out the window and come here and start over.
Since 1988, Boone Speedway has played host to the IMCA Super Nationals, making it one of the most celebrated tracks in IMCA racing history. It's also one of the most unique.
It's a pretty small track, but there's a lot of banking. The bottom gets kind of flat and then kind of progresses up to the top.
It's kind of like 2 drag shifts, but you got to be able to get through the corner good too. If you watch where you're going, there's always, you can go 2, 3, 4 wide here, and it's always fun.
To me, Boone Speedway is probably one of the raciest places to race. That's why I race here weekly. It's just, there's always multiple lanes. You know, there's a top, a bottom. They farm the track. It just don't turn to glass. You know, when it starts getting real slick, they farm it.
I think it's a pretty big momentum track. You have to carry a lot of speed into the corner, whether you're trying to run the top or run the bottom.
With multiple grooves, drivers have plenty of options when it comes to choosing a line. And they all have their favorite.
Oh, I like to rip the top. It's just so fast, and sometimes it gets way high up there, and sometimes it'll even drop off the edge of the track. There's a really fine line between being on it, being under it, or going right over it.
The way I look at it is if you're coming off the corner with somebody that's on the bottom and you're on the top, you're always going to beat them to the flake stand.
There ain't nothing better than running the rim and going down the back chute and all the people on the catwalk and sparking the back wall. I don't know, for some reason I just love doing that. It's not right. My crew guys hate me, but yeah, top definitely is the funnest deal here.
I kind of like going in kind of on the top, and if your car can do it, cut across the slick to the bottom, you can get a huge run off the corners. I mean, last year we won the Super Nationals here running the bottom the whole race. I don't think I got off the bottom at all. By the end of the race, I mean, we were killing it down there.
I like the middle of the racetrack to the bottom, but you know, actually we won our heat race there for the prelude around the top, and most people would be watching Kelly Shryack run around the top and go, that's not normally where that dude likes to race, so.
I was a cushion banger forever, and then when we started working with Scott Bloomquist, we were watching a lot of films, and he's like, watch the percentage of races that are won from the middle to the bottom. Probably became more ambidextrous, I guess, but this place is the trickiest place. It moves around so much up and down, and so I mean, I wouldn't say that there's necessarily a fast line besides, you know, just being in the right one at the right time.
Success at Boone requires drivers to stay ahead of two things: an elite field of competition and an ever-changing track surface.
The number one thing you got to watch for as far as fast lines is where they prep that. If you get like right after a farm session, you got to watch where they put the least amount of water, and that's going to be where it starts.
Earlier in the day, it dries out pretty quick, and you know, the sun starts setting, and it seems like kind of the moisture starts coming up, but the wood chips here really throw a curveball at it.
They start racing here at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and it goes till midnight. So there's a lot of laps, so they put the wood chips on to help hold the moisture. But it also makes the track really slick and hard to get a hold of, so it's pretty challenging.
Obviously, the wood's gonna be slicker than dirt, so it's just a different deal. Like when you get done at the night, your lap has got wood chips on it, you know, in the race car.
You look at the place and it looks like it's hammered down because the wood chips keep it wet and it looks wet, but you get out there and it is definitely not hammered down most of the time, so just tighten up and roll out.
Robert Lawton, he's the owner and other promoter here. I think he got the idea from Hobstadt, Indiana. They do that over there, but it definitely helps the track on our weekly shows. We do have a higher car count, so it doesn't lock up, doesn't lay rubber and latch up, and it helps the maintenance during the week for sure. It just makes it, overall, it makes it easier for the guys to work on, and I guess it gives people something to talk about. But hey, all publicity here is good publicity for sure.
For some drivers, a slicker surface is a welcome feature.
I guess this year it's been drying out, slicking off a little bit more, and that kind of plays into our hands because, you know, we're West Texas guys and we like to dry slick.
A lot of people could drive under moisture. Not as many guys could drive when it's really slick. So I like the slicker type of racetrack, but you know, you just got to learn to get up on the wheel. Then you got to try to figure out how you're going to pass that dude in front of you.
So with the time and money that you spend on a race car, you could be going to Hawaii, you could be going to Vegas, you could be doing all kinds of stuff. What is it about racing that makes you want to race?
I don't know. I've done it since I was 5, so that's all I've known all my life, and I'm pretty much addicted at this point.
The drivers at Boone may come from different states and compete in different classes, but the one thing they all have in common is their passion for the sport.
You don't think about the outside world. It's like you come here, you want to win. We go on them vacations, don't get me wrong, it's awesome to go relax, but when I am on them vacations, I think about, man, I just want to go racing, you know?
It's a really humbling sport. It can be from really high to super low and wrecking the car for no reason. And then the next week you put it back together and win. So the drive just keeps on keeping you coming back and doing it all over again.
For countless drivers, that drive to compete begins in the hobby stock division.
They're basically the same as a stock car. We just got smaller tires. We don't have the weight jack bolts and as much power as they do. So, I mean, it's basically the bodies and stuff.
It's like an entry level for rear-wheel drive cars. This is only my first full year in it. I did a half a season last year. It takes a little bit to get used to.
The hobby stock class may be beginner friendly, but the field at Boone is stacked with talent. To see it, look no further than the Race of Champions, a 12-lap shootout featuring past champions and current points leaders, the best of the best in IMCA racing.
Well, we're going to get loaded up with 12 hobby stocks for 12 laps. Can we possibly top or even come close to matching that?
Let's get loaded up, boys. On your feet, here we go to the green flag. Down the front straightaway, look at this. It is going to be the 77 of Andrew Burke on the outside.
And they are still paired up top 4 off of 4. Nearly 3 deep for the race lead, this time by with 5 down and 7 to go.
Back up front, it's a 3-horse battle. Here comes Olmstead. Watch Big. Look at the 77 of Burke. You're epic down the back straightaway. The 98 CM Olmstead back to the top. Look at the bottom action. They're 4 wide down the front straightaway. There's 2 to go. Down into turn number 1 and 2.
Off of 4 to the white flag they come. 1 lap remaining.
Into turn number 3 and 4. He'll go to the top. He'll lay it in deep. He's going to sell it cheap. Stephen Mills, starter, racer, champion, winner, 3 times in a row. Zach Olmstead.
That was such a good race, but you never had it all to yourself.
No, we were 5 wide, I think, for the lead at one time. That was a lot of fun. You got to have a lot of luck when you come down here. I haven't had none this week, but we said today's going to change, so got it for them.
We've had a good week. What are we going to talk about? We got plenty we could talk about.
How does this year compare to previous years, attendance-wise?
It sure feels like it's been a pretty busy week. I thought last night was good. I thought Monday night's late model show had a great crowd.
It's really not shocked me, but it's really overwhelmed me. This whole community is just unbelievable.
You got a racing family and you got your family. Racing family, it means a lot because they have your back through it all. I mean, I made so many friends just racing that, like, if I have a problem, they help me out.
All my friends are in racing, and I've created a family around racing too, and I spend most of my time either racing or thinking about racing, so.
Everyone at Boone shares a common bond and passion for the sport, but for drivers like Mike Smith, his racing family is his family.
Our family's always done it, so there's always family at the track. Watching all my uncles and my dad do this, I want to get to the point where they still are. I know my dad's 2 wins away from 200 wins in the IMCA stock car, so I got a long way to go.
Here they come to the racetrack, your Sunoco Hobby Stocks for their big dance. Let's take a look at that starting grid on the pole out of Cherokee, Iowa. It's the 49 of Jimmy Johnson, the 22 of Mike Smith from Lake City, and the 14 of Tristan Grape out of Bellwood, Nebraska.
Talking about the hobby stock division, Jerry, this is the 27th year the hobby stocks have been sanctioned here during Super Nationals.
Off of turn number 4, green flags out. Here we go down the front straightaway. It's going to be a drag race. 3 wide down into turn number 1.
5 laps now scored complete. 25 laps to go. Here comes Smith. He'll take a peek to the outside of your race leader. That is the youngster Mike Smith out of Lake City. He'll challenge for the race lead at the line, and it was Probst by 15 1/1000ths of a second.
Down the back straightaway. Here we go. Once again to the outside, it's Mike Smith, Corey Probst battling for the lead. Off with turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. I think we're going to get it. Boom, bang, got him. You got a new leader. It's Mike Smith. Here we've got 9 circuits remaining. Mike Smith, your race leader. Jimmy Johnson is now. Jimmy Johnson got turned down the front straightaway.
You talk about deja vu all over again. A hard hit on Johnson. Man.
Unfortunate, we got wrecked by the same guy 3 times this year now, so I guess what comes around goes around next year. So
now we are a heat race away from crowning a champion. 8 laps to go, guys. Green flag is out. He'll work it in off of turn number 4. Jerry, the white flag will greet him. Mike Smith 1 lap away from his second Super Nationals title.
On down into turn 3 and 4. 2-time Hobby Stock Super Nationals champion. It is Mike Smith.
What a moment for him. Put your hands together, Mike Smith.